Hello, welcome to the queue. It is Operation MLEC 2, and it is US, UK, China, turn 5. For $86, US is going to buy 2 subs, destroyer transport, 5 infantry, free infantry, tank, artillery, 2 fighters at 9 each, and a carrier. $46. We had 47, but we had a little snafu in Transjordan. Had to re-roll it, so we're down to 46. We've got 5 infantry, free infantry, 3 artillery, 2 tanks, and a fighter for 9, saving $1. China's not going to spend a dime. All right, so let's move on to some combat, and we've got some combat. We got to pay back these stinking Italians. Let's do our attack here first. I don't think we're going to bring both planes. I think we're just bringing one. Yeah. All right. So I think we're bringing that. Yeah, we'll bring that fighter. Why not? So next up, we've got our fighter here off Gibraltar, and Britain has ATC, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's a movement of 1 left. Land down here in the Sudan. All right, we're going to bring 2 of our 4 transports. And get on there. Come on, flip, 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 flip. All right, 1, 2, 3. I'm going to bring a bombard here with our battleship. Are we bringing that cruiser? I think not. We'll leave it as is. So on the 2 transports, we're going to bring the 3 infantry from Gibraltar. That's 1 well, we can bring 6 units total. We're going to bring the 2 mechs and 1 tank. Is that right? That is a bugger. I don't know if that's right or not. I think so. Because I could bring that artillery. Yeah, let's bring that artillery. All right, so that's that battle. 6 units, 1 bombard, 1 fighter. Going here, we're going to have our fighter and tactical. And the tactical has 1 more movement because of that air base into Algeria. And incoming is the infantry and mech. I think that tank is staying put. Yeah. We're going to get picked up later. Yeah, I think that's it. And if we fail, the British are set to come in afterwards. But hopefully we don't fail, right? So that's the U.S. attacks. 1, 2. And over here we've got a walk-on. We've got a transport bringing 2 mechs and an infantry into the Caroline Islands, which is a walk-on. The Japanese anti-aircraft gun is captured, so that becomes U.S. That's nice. Get rid of that. So we will go up 1. Japan will go down 1. Sorry about going in front of the camera. And that's it for over here. Oh, no, it isn't. We're attacking all these stinking transports that are out here. So this bomber is in Queensland. 1, 2, 3, 4. He'll have 3 movement left. We got a sub coming out of Queensland at a naval base. 1, 2, 3. So get that chip out of there. That transport's gone. This transport has an escort, though, so we're going to send out a sub, 1, 2, and then the 2 fighters off the carrier, 1, 2. And they're going to try and take out that destroyer and that. All right, we're going to leave the British for that one. And hopefully we're successful here. Now I think we're done with attacks. Yeah, the other arrows are yellow. All right, so let's roll some dice. Let's get payback on these stinking Italians, shall we? So we have an infantry mech. We have a fighter tactical. Oh, but you know what? I can target select. Oh, let's target select. All right. So I'll put those dice in there in case we need them. All right, here's the tactical bomber target selecting the artillery. Nice. All right, so we didn't lose any more casualties to the Italians. So that was British. They didn't have to go in there. And that one's U.S. All right, so U.S. up 1, and then Italy down 1. All right. All right, that's it for that. They'll go back when they're done. All right, into Cairo. All right, so what do we have there? We do have 2 1s for the 2 infantry unpaired with the artillery. Oh, we have a mechanized as well. Then we got an infantry artillery. And there's the tank. We got a fighter and then a bombard. And we can roll this all at once. The 2 German infantry defenders will be the green dice. And gosh dang it. All that dice and 1 and 1. Oh, for crying out loud. All right, so we will lose the mech. It doesn't matter. We'll lose. Yeah, it does. We'll lose. You're not looking at it. The mech and 1 German. So let's take out a German defender dice. Let's take out the battleship bombard and a 1. All right, so this is the dice for round 2. And I dropped 1 to the floor, but I don't need it because I got a hit. They did not. All right, so Cairo falls. Now that is not U.S. money. That is Britain. They'll go to 40, and Italy will go down 2 more. All right, so that is Cairo with 3 infantry, artillery, and a tank. And that's in the C zone. All right. Next up to roll is the bomber and then this. Let's do the bomber first. That's just going to be 1 round of dice at 2. 2 at 2. Hit. All right, so that transport is toast. And let's get the 3rd one here with the destroyer. So we're going to have a sub at 2, and then 2 fighters at 3, and then that will be the defender, defending Japanese destroyer. 2 hits for us, no hits for them. All right, so far, so good. Oh, actually, that's it. No more rolling. Not for the Americans, anyway. All right, so let's land our planes. These 2 just go back to the carrier. 1, 2. And this bomber goes 1, 2, 3. Has to go to Western Australia. But we're going to rail 2 U.S. infantry out of Queensland into Western Australia. Beef up the defenses. All right, so that is those markers. Those are done. That's done. That's British. All right, so up here we got a destroyer from P-34. He comes down. Oh, you know what? He can't get there. 1, 2, 1, 2. Well, we'll put him back to Pearl, and then from Pearl will be a destroyer, carrier, and 2 fighters. 1, 2, 3, because there's an air base. All right. That gives us 3 destroyers with all those Commonwealth ones. All right. Next, coming down from the U.S. is a carrier, a battleship, 2 subs, destroyer, transport, grabs 2 infantry and an artillery. The fighter comes and lands on the carrier. And then what that means now is this fighter from Western U.S. goes 1. It's at an air base. 2, 3, 4. lands on the carrier. I don't think it has a magnet because I don't think it'll stay there for now. All right, so that's it there. What are we going to do over here, non-com? So this fighter has to land in Sudan. That's it for that. We're going to land both of these on Gibraltar, actually, because we get more range with that ATC than if we were on the carrier. So the carrier is going to step back one into A29, along with the cruiser, or is that cruiser? Cruiser's going to go 1, 2, 3 into A19. One destroyer goes 1, 2, 3 over here. Should I send that other destroyer? Yeah. 1, 2, 3. So 2 destroyers go over to A30. That leaves 2 transports. The British will move on their own. So the transport with the 2 British infantry goes 1, 2, 3 into A19, and they're going to stay there, and we're going to load another British on the British turn. This transport is going to come out 1, grab the infantry from Morocco, and go 2, 3 into A19. And for grins, we're going to land him because just in case there's an assault we don't see coming. All right, so that's it. That's that. The tank will stay. Actually, it'll come out to Morocco. These 2 transports will go back to A21. This transport from A21 grabs 2 infantry and the tank and comes over to A29, and they go into Gibraltar. All right, so that's an infantry. Let's see if I got an infantry here. I don't see any U.S. infantry. Where can I chip out some infantry? Here we go. We'll chip that out. And then put that there. So there's 1 infantry there, which, let me look at my buy. Do I need to send him to the West Coast? No. But, oh no, I need him for the 2 transports. He stays. Or do I take the tank? I think I'll rail him, or he'll step over to the West Coast, and I'll need to do that before I place. So just to make sure, I may do that backwards because now let's place our goods. We're going to place a tank and 5 infantry into Western United States. So that's 6 units for the 2 transports. All right, all this goes on the West Coast. Oh my gosh. The U.S. being on both sides is kind of a pain in the butt. All right, so let's lay all that out. All right, so the carrier in the C zone is 2 subs and a destroyer and a transport. On land is 2 fighters, an infantry, artillery. So I do have 1 extra infantry. That's okay. We'll use them at some point. All right, so for U.S., are we done? Those have landed. I think so. So let's count up their money. So they have 56 on the tracker now. So there's 56. The bonus, I got to get that. Nope, just stepped on a dice. I got to get that book again. All right, so U.S. Oh, turn a page. All right, so 3%. I wish I got 3%. Oh, maybe I don't. 3 IPCs for Caroline and Marshall. So that'll be $6. Let's put that out there. There's $6 there. We have 2 units, ground units in Casablanca, so that's 3 more. So that'll be 9. We have $10 for no longer being neutral. All right, so let's do it like this because the next one is 1 per territory, and we've only lost the Philippines, so we get 14. So let's put 1 here. That makes that an even 10. And there's 10, so we need 3 more. All right, so that makes, what does that make? 56, 59, 69, 79, 89. All right, so 89 going forward to next turn for the U.S. On to Britain, and they're going to deal the Italians a harsh blow, hopefully. We'll be attacking the fleet here. We've got a bomber, 1, 2, 3. We've got 2 fighters from Gibraltar. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So they have 1 left. We got a fighter from Iran. 1, 2. He's got 2 left. We got a fighter from Iraq. 1, 2, 3. He's got 1 left. What is that? Oh, this tactical comes out 1, 2, 3, or 1, 2, takes that out, and then he'll land back there. This other tactical is the one here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and it has 1 left. All right, let's push in some cannon fodder. The destroyer there. Let's bring, which one? Cruiser or battleship? That's a good one. We can take a hit on the battleship, so we'll bring the battleship, and these are going to do some other stuff. All right, we got an infantry from Iraq walking into Lebanon, so we'll get rid of that. And then the other infantry, I'll chip him out. I do have British infantry here. He'll go into Transjordan. And then we're going to take 2 of our 4 infantry and just do a probing attack here in eastern Burma. So let me get 2 grays. Get rid of that green. And then I'll get an infantry out of the box over here. I just knocked the Russian roundel over, so I don't know what their income is. Oh, here we go. All right. All right, that is pretty much it. So we cleaned up 4 transports, which is nice. All right, let's go with some dice, shall we? Right, that's it? Yes. All right, get rid of this out of the dice tray. All right, so the first attack will be the 2 infantry doing the probing attack against the Japanese infantry. Uh-oh, there we go. All right. All right, was it worth it? Nobody hit. Round 2. It was worth it. All right, so we'll take that off, and we'll mark that up when we do our income. So now the only other rolling attack is here, the battleships. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 planes. 3, 4, 5. They get 5 anti-aircraft dice. All right, well, that is not what I want to see. 1 hit. That's what the bomber was for. So let's lose the bomber, because it only had 2 dice at 2. All right, so next up, we got 4 fighters. All right, so we got 4 fighters. We got a not a cruiser. We got a destroyer. We got a battleship. Oh, we got a tactical, which is boosted to a 4. And that is only 2 hits. Interesting. That sucks. So if we take a cruiser and a battleship, it's a 2 and a 4. If we take the battleship, it's 2 3s. That seems better. Because the anti-aircraft is done. All right, so defending will be 2 3s. I'll leave those there. 2 3s, 2 1s, and a 4. And they get 3. How exciting. 3 hits. So, one is the destroyer, one on the battleship, and we'll lose one of these fighters. All right, so this isn't too good now. Question is, do I retreat? Nah. That seems like the right thing to do, but we're not going to do it. So we are down to 3 fighters, right? Yeah, 3 fighters, battleship, and a tactical. All right. Oh my gosh. 1 hit. This is sucky. All right, 2 3s, 2 1s. We're not using the dice tray anymore. 2 hits. Good night. Ay, ay, ay. So they lose a cruiser. What to do? What to do? I didn't count on losing all this stuff. Of course, when you roll like garbaggiola. So I've got to take 2, which I assume will be 2 fighters. All right, 2 fighters it is. All right, so unfortunately, we're down to a 2, 3, and a 4. Of course, now we get 3 hits. You got to be kidding me. 1, 2, 3. So 2 transports survive. And they get a 3 and 2 1s. And of course they hit. All right. Stinker. I was really hoping to keep that battleship. What to do? All right, we'll lose another fighter. All right, now we got a 3 and a 2. And they have a 1. We'll roll it all together. The black dice is the 1. There's 1 hit, and that's the end of the battle. That puts them down to 1 transport, which is then an auto kill. The battleship. That tactical lands there. All right, that so did not work out the way I had envisioned. But what has this game? All right, well, kick me in the groin. That means Britain's going to go up 1, 2, 3, because Japan here. Oh, that's Burma as well. So Britain goes up 3. Japan's down here. They go down 1. And Italy goes down 2. All right. Well, I got a lot of money here to spend on the next round, and really not much to buy, so I guess I'll be buying some of those planes back. All right, so what we've got is this tactical here. Comes back 1, 2. All right, the battleship, or the cruiser. I should have brought that heavy cruiser in instead of the battleship. Well, I'd have lost more planes. We'll grab the 2 artillery and come over to P-52, drop them off in West India. The 2 infantry in Iran rail up 1, 2, 3 into Stalingrad. The 2 tanks will drive over 1, 2 into India. In India, though, we're going to take, what is that? That's 6, 11, 12, 14, 18. Oh, no, those. Hang on. These 2 were already there. So that is 12, 16, 19 infantry, 1 tank, 1 artillery, 4 AA guns will go into Burma. So the 2 tanks drove over to India. All right, so what to do now? All right, here in Belgian Congo, we'll rail 1, 2, 3 up into Egypt. The other guy will just walk up into Central Africa. I think we're golden. I hear you, bub. You're just going to have to hang on here a second. Okay, so on this side, yeah, we're going to bring our battleship, 1, 2, 3, up to A19. Our other transport, 1, 2, 3, up to A19. This destroyer from A32 will go back 1, 2 to A29. Nothing can hit there, so they're pretty safe. We are going to step 1 infantry onto the transport, U.S. transport, so it has 3 British infantry completely. All right, I think we're done, and that may have just finished us off. All right, so when you roll like crap, that's what you get, is crap. All right, so in India, how many was I going to do that? That's 3 artillery for 12 and 1 tank for 17. The free infantry, is here. I do need a 2nd infantry, so it'll be 18 infantry stepping forward, not 19. All right. In Iraq is a tank and 2 infantry. Up in London is 3 infantry and a fighter. I hear you, but it doesn't matter. All right, so we saved $1. Let's see where we're at now. We're up at 43. There's 40. $3. And we got our NO back. So that's 5, that's 11. So get rid of that. So that will be 43, $54 for next turn. All right. And China's got 6. They keep 6 and do nothing. So that's it. Let me take care of the dog, and that'll be it. Next up is Italy. We'll see what happens there.